Okay, so hi everyone. Thank you so much for waiting. We're going to begin immediately because I know that we have like a lot of things we're doing for the day. I'll do a quick introduction. My name is Genevieve. I'm a business acquisition lead here at Terminal, and I'll be taking us through this interactive session. On this session, we're going to be talking about tips on how to avoid additional charges on your shipment, how to correctly measure volumetric and actual weight, what you can do when you have been charged wrongly, and the new reconciliation process. So for us to begin, I will start first up with what are the tips that we need to avoid additional charges on our shipments. We know most of us here are 3PLs, and that means third-party logistics businesses, and we have a need to actually package our items. Or we realize that customers always have this issue of either they're having discrepancies on their weight or they're having issues with measuring their shipments. A lot of issues have been coming around regarding volumetric weight, actual weight, and how to deal with all of this, right? So to start with, it's very important to do an accurate documentation of your shipment. An accurate documentation of your shipment. And this is very important because customers have to understand that there are two types of shipping processes when you're booking, right? So the first is making sure that you have your way bill, you have your invoice, and you have extra documentation when it comes to some courier partners like DHL and like FedEx, most importantly. Also, proper packaging. Now, if you don't properly package your items, customers will, rather, the carriers will continue to bill you for discrepancy. I'll give us an instance. Imagine you're sending a package like it means that when it gets to the carrier, that package will not fly. And what that means is it's going to eat into the time of the delivery timeline. And like we said, the delivery timeline starts to count from when you drop off your package. So it's very important that we note that there are some items that cannot go into flyer bags, while there are some that will go into flyer bags. So as we get along on this session, I'm going to explain to us how all this works. But it's very important that we properly package our items, right? And also address information. So you don't get extra billing on your account. Most of our couriers would always bill you for example, oh, I was booking and I forgot it's flat 10 and I put flat 30. And oh, Genevieve, please help me update this address. Those little changes come at an extra cost. So it's very important that we inform our staff, if you have a very large team, that once you are booking, make sure you put the right address because this comes at an extra cost, right? If at any point we have a need to actually update address, we should also bear in mind that the couriers will actually charge us for this. Something is very important to note here. When we bill, it's not terminal that is taking your money. It's actually the carriers, because these are some things that are very important to take note of, right? Also, the weight and dimension. Another tip is so you don't get extra money. For example, I booked a package with using FedEx. I went to drop off as FedEx office in what is it called? Isolo. Oh, I'm sure I booked the package. But when it got there, FedEx now realized that that package actual weight is 10 kg, but the dimension is 15 kg. Of course, FedEx is not going to process that shipment. They will keep it and they send us an email stating that this shipment cannot ride because it was not properly measured, either actual weight or dimensional weight. So usually, in order not to avoid any other thing, some cases we now say, all right, okay, go ahead and process the shipment. Anytime they do this, they have to bill you for that. Or a shipment gets to FedEx and FedEx realizes that the carton you used to pack that shipment was not properly done. Maybe it's spilled or the carton is torn and they decide to repackage that item. Also, this will also attract other charges. So sometimes when we have people say, oh, why am I getting discrepancy on my account? You people just like to bill us. It's not always about even the shipment. It's about maybe you dropped off a package and that package was not properly done because FedEx need to move those packages or DHL needs to move them, they now have to repackage those items. And I'll give another instance. You put clothes in a flyer bag, it's very bulky. FedEx sees it, they have their standard, they remove it and put it in a bigger flyer bag. And that bigger flyer bag comes at an extra cost. This is also part of it. So in order to avoid all of this, we should actually put items in boxes or packaging material that best fits. It doesn't have to bulge. We don't have to squeeze in. It should fit comfortably either in a flyer or in a box. Okay. Also, one thing that is also very important to avoid extra billing or extra charges on your account is, let's try and read our emails, SMSs, here at Terminal, we try to keep our customers informed. We send internal memos where they can see, oh, this is what is happening. And I know we are always very busy trying to make money, get shipment here and there, but I think it's very important to always check our emails after the day's job, go through that. Oh, what does Terminal or what is Terminal doing today? So that anytime there's an issue, you've gotten that information and you can just work on it and also inform your staff about it. We're going to be going also to how to correctly actual weight, right? As a business, especially as a 3PL business, it's very important that we know that there are two different ways of measuring your packages. The first one is the scale weight. I get an item from a customer, I put it on the scale. The first measurement there is scale weight, that's the actual weight. Now, okay, that item is very small, it's just 2 kg now, but that item is wide. Of course, it can't go into a flyer bag. You have to put it in a box. Now, you can put items in a box based off on different reasons. Very fragile, very bulky, and sometimes items are prone to spillage, like skincare or liquid items. Now, when you put those items in a box, it is very important that you do the dimensional weight, which is the length, the breadth, and the height. You divide it by 5,000. That allows you to know what your volumetric weight is. In a situation where the actual weight, for example, is 10 kg, and you've done this dimension is 8 kg, please book with the higher kg. I'll go over that again. In a situation where the shipment is 10 kg and the actual weight, that's 10 kg, and the dimensional weight is 8 kg, please book with the higher weight. The reverse is the case. If the dimensional weight is 10 and the actual weight is 8, please book with the higher kg, because we usually get instances where customers will say, but the box is not heavy, so I just put it on the weight, so the content that is bigger. Please, let's not assume. It's very important to actually do it so that even when we bill you for discrepancy, you can dispute it, bearing in mind that you actually did this and you have records of them, right? Also, items in flyer bags can also attract volumetric weight. I'll give an instance. We have customers that use Ship to Nigeria and they put maybe clothes inside flyer bags and they booked it as 2 kg. And when we come back to them and say, oh, this item was booked as 2 kg, but after doing everything, it comes back as 2.3 kg, customers start to, no, I can't pay. You people are billing me. No. The reason is because this flyer bag is now bulgy, and of course, the officer there is going to measure the bigger part of it, and whatever is there is going to change. So it's very important that is either you put your item to be on a safe space in a box, or when you're going to put it in a flyer bag, you have to do the dimension of that flyer bag, which is usually the higher part, maybe that long part, the length of it, and the height. So you know that even if they come back to you, you've already booked it and you've played safe. Also, okay. So, like I said, also very important for some of us that have a large team, maybe we have staff and we have different branches here and there. It's very important we also train our staff. Let's not just have this information to ourselves. Let's also tell them that it's important to do dimension, so that when we now do discrepancy, the staff can easily say, yes, I did, but because you know it, you assume the staff knows it. So it's important to educate them on how to handle discrepancies. All right. The next slide will be on what can you do when you are charged wrongly. This is also tied to our new reconciliation process, right? So we've actually seen situations where customers get emails stating that their account have been billed for weight discrepancy, and we know that sometimes customers come back and be very dissatisfied, saying, "Oh, you people are just removing my money. I'm not pleased. I'll stop using Terminal Africa." First things first, to clear the air. Terminal Africa is not the one billing you for this, right? We are just actioning on the billing that these customers do. In a very clear terms, we just act on what our carriers sent to us. Now, I'll run us through the step by step of how you can, or what you can do to avoid being, when you are billed wrongly, and what's the new, so they are tied together. So the first thing is, when you book a shipment as a shipper, either you go and drop off, or the carrier comes and they pick up from you. Once that package is received in their hub, they have to do their due diligence. Now, some of us that uses Anchor or DHL, you see that when you go to drop off that package and that package cannot go, they immediately tell you cannot go, and they tell you to retrieve that package, right? For FedEx, for example, they might not tell you that. FedEx will receive the package from you, and at the point where they want to scan, right? So the scanning happens in two ways. Maybe items that require Nigerian compliance documentation, like quarantine, FDA, right? They will now tell you, okay, this package requires quarantine, this package requires FDA, or this package was not properly packed. You get what I mean? Now, for DHL, sometimes they might process this shipment, and eventually, so for example, if a DHL processes this shipment, they now update it on their system. Now, when they update the system, terminal system then gets this information. That is when they now send it to you as a shipper and say, this shipment was booked as 2 kg, but when it was, after everything, we discovered that the shipment is actually 3 kg. You get a prompt. Now, the new reconciliation process allows you to get a prompt that says, this is what it is. Now, as a shipper or as a customer, you receive this email. So bear in mind that the first email you receive is not to bill your account. It's informing you that you have a discrepancy on your account. You need to act on it. Now, it is now then you will respond to that email stating that, okay, this is well received, and you will share picture or video of that package. So when you are sharing the picture, it's not just putting it on the scale. You have to share a picture and video with the dimensional weight and everything. The reason why we probably think that, oh, I sent to Terminal has taken my money, is because we also, as partners, have to go back to these carriers and dispute it. Now, the grace period is 72 hours. Once you receive that email, you respond. So it means that we from here, we already know that you've acknowledged that you have seen that email, and you give us the information you need. We need rather, which allows us to be able to dispute further. So we then go to the carrier and say, oh, okay, this customer actually booked as this, and they provided evidence or the proof that this shipment was actually done like this, right? So once we do that, we'll be able to either say, okay, the shipment is correct. If it's correct, we are not going to bill you. If it's not correct, we'll go ahead to bill. So billing happens in two ways. If we discover that the billing is actually right, we now go ahead to bill. Secondly, if the customer does not respond to the email within 72 hours, that's the window period. So let's say you get an email on Friday, oh, on Saturday you're busy. We know you still have the grace of Saturday, Sunday, Monday to respond, right? So once you respond, that period we work on it. If we don't get a response, we are assuming that you are fine with the email you got, and the system automatically go ahead to bill. Because we run a tech-based system, right? The system has already picked that 72 hours as elapsed and it goes ahead to bill you. So it's very important that we should always check our emails so that we are able to understand what's going on, and also know that it's not terminal that is billing. It's just part of the compliance process. So we don't wait until 1 week and tell you, oh, you have 1 billion to pay. No, it's easy. Immediately you see it, we let you know, and you immediately act on it. And know, if you have a LATIM, know who to hold responsible for that. All right. Sorry. So I think basically I would give room for questions, and also just something to note for like couriers like FedEx. Sometimes or most times they don't get to charge for discrepancy until that shipment gets to France, where they rescan and then notify us that the shipment has discrepancy. So like I said, discrepancy can be address change, can be packaging materials, can be wrong weight. It cuts across like different things. It can be documentation, as in the case of FedEx, where you need extra documentation. So it's just important to note that. So for now, I'm going to give room for questions, and we'll throw it open for the house. Thank you so much. I know a lot of us have a lot of things to ask, so I'll just hold on right here. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ma.
Good afternoon. Thank
Yes, ma.
you. Please go
My name
ahead.
is my name is James from AJCL.
Okay.
My issue is concerning the custom duty
Okay.
because this gives so much problem concerning our customers. It draws so many customers away because many customers are being confused about the custom duty.
Okay.
So I don't know how this issue can be addressed
Okay.
because of recent, a customer have to come and pick up an order from our company just because of the custom duty.
Okay.
And I have a similar case. A customer discussed with me 3 or 4 days ago from Australia. The customer was doing that, allow me to know that he wants to know every amount paid concerning the custom duty because something like 4 years ago, he,
Mm.
he tried to import something from Australia,
Mm.
but got to Nigeria, there's
Mm.
an issue concerning the custom duty that really discouraged him. Since then, I don't even tried to even make any attempt to send anything down to Nigeria again. So I don't know how this issue can be addressed because it gives so many concerns. It drives away so many customers when it comes to custom issue. So I don't know how the issue can be addressed now because, in fact, it really baffles many
Okay.
people.
James, thank you for your question. I just want to ask you a question before I can respond to this.
All right.
Can you hear me? Your background is a bit noisy.
I'm with
Uh,
you, man.
all right. First off, this issue you're having, are you having it with import or export? That's the first question,
Okay,
right?
man.
Then clearly, can you clearly just say, like in one sentence, what's the exact issue you are having with custom duty? Is it when it gets there, your customer must pay custom charge for their shipments? Then I can clearly now address what the issues are.
Yes, man. First and foremost, there, there is an issue that raised last year importing of phone from another country to Nigeria. But got into Nigeria, fine. This phone was rated with their custom duties rate. But at the end of the day, this guy got guilty of not giving out the actual price of the phone. But now, up to this moment, the phone has not been retrieved. I think there should be the right source or the right way. If such issue happen, if these people are going to be fined, if this money is going to be paid to the government pocket directly, or the legal process that will make everything to be sought out so that people will not be tired when such issue happens. Because up to
Okay.
now, I'm not sure the customer haven't gotten back the phone. They were just dropping him back and up. Do this, do that. So he don't even know what to do.
Was this shipment done on Terminal Africa?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we don't drag it for too long.
Yes, ma'am.
So issues regarding custom, it's very important that if you have an account officer, anytime you want to have an import shipment, for now, right, it's good to
Yes, ma'am.
inform your account officer about it so the account officer can advise accordingly, right?
Okay.
Then yes,
Okay.
also regarding gadgets generally, there are some regulations around it. That's why it's very important to let your account officer know so they can advise, so they can tell you what to do, guide you on what to do, so you don't have these issues because we have customers that actually do imports like on a daily basis and we really have not really gotten issues like this. Then for export, it's very important to note that this is very, it varies amongst country, right? There are some countries like Australia, Canada, UK, the EU countries, even if no matter what you declare, you must pay for custom duty. That's why, can you mute your mic? Thank you. So that's why it's very important that we let customers know that they are going to pay custom duty because when a shipment gets to the destination country, we cannot even determine if the customer is going to pay whatever amount for now. We're building a system where customer have this information. But right now, it's good to let them know that they have an idea that there's going to be a custom fee on a shipment that is sent anytime they send it, right? But there are some countries that are very heavy on import duty. So I think that being said, I would like to take. I don't know if any other person has another question. Please go ahead. Okay, I'll just do a quick one for the benefit of those that are just joining. Okay, Franca, please go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Franca.
Uh, Please, I want to confirm something. When you're talking about the flyer bag thing, like how to calculate the weight for the flyer bag, are we meant to use the dimensional weight or just normal, the actual weight? I just want to confirm.
Okay, so for flyer bags, if you're sending an item that is bulky, like let me give you an instance, you're trying to send a lace or maybe let's say shoe, a pair of shoe that is in a box and you put it in a flyer, it would definitely have dimensions because you put it in a flyer, right? So you are doing both the actual and the dimensional weight. So you check for the dimension and the actual weight. The only time you don't need to do dimensional weight, you just need actual, is if it's a flat package. For example, maybe it's just a pair of shirts that is just in a flyer bag, an envelope, a letter you get. But anything that made the moment it bulges, it's very important that you do the dimension of that package so you don't get discrepancy. I don't know if I answered your question, Franca.
Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Okay. So we'll still leave the room open for questions. For the purpose of those that are just joining, we're talking about how to avoid extra charges on your shipments, how to ensure that you do the right packaging, taking into cognizance the do's and don'ts, and also how to dispute your package anytime you get billed. It's very important to note that because customers always want to make profit, I mean, at the end of the day. So if you have a package that just got to you and you got an email stating that your package will be billed for a certain amount, I'll just do a quick run through. You have to respond to that email stating the reason why you are disputing it using picture or video evidence of the weight and the dimensional weight of that package. Then we will then go ahead to pause billing until we complete our investigation. So upon completion of investigation and we find out that it's actually the right one, we'll go ahead to bill your wallet. If we discover that the billing is not right, if it's the wrong one, we would not bill your wallet. Also, in a situation where you don't respond to your email, we have a window period of dispute of 72 hours. So if we don't get a response from you within 72 hours, we assume that you are fine with the billing, then we'll go ahead to bill. It's very important to note that the first email you get is a notification email telling you that you are going to be billed. Then if we don't get a response within 72 hours, we then go ahead to bill your account. So that's just for the benefit of those that are just joining. Then lastly, discrepancy is not just on boxes, it's also on flyer bags. Flyer bags that have items that are bulgy, that the moment you have some level of height, then it's very important that you do dimension on it. Okay, so Tatiana, if I'm right,
Yeah.
pardon me,
Hi.
please.
Hi.
Okay,
Good afternoon.
good afternoon.
So yeah, this is concerning the weight discrepancy, and I understand the issue of volumetric weight when you're sending bulkier items, but that usually doesn't apply to me because of the items. I'm not a 3PL. I have an e-commerce store, and most of my the things that I send are lightweight and small packages like ponytails, wigs, that sort of thing. My issue is, when you get a weight discrepancy and it's sorted that, oh, okay, the actual weight you put is actually the weight, and I'm refunded whatever has been billed to my account and da da da. But then that's the thing, it keeps happening, especially because I send the same parcels the same type of way. I've been shipping for 5 years now, so I know how to be consistent with my packaging. So why does it
Right.
keep happening with the same type of item? So let's say one person orders this wig, another person orders the same wig, and I ship it. The weight discrepancy is sorted for the previous order, and I get another weight discrepancy for the same thing. It's really exhausting because this keep happening. This keeps happening. I remember in December I got this weight discrepancy thing, and it was on a ponytail, a very tiny parcel, and I had to reach out to FedEx myself, and then FedEx replies me that the weight I declared is actually what's on the system. So there seems to be a lot of things
Okay.
going on, and it's really confusing sometimes. So I was
Okay,
wondering,
thank you,
yeah,
Diana. Yeah. Okay, first of all, I'd like to sincerely apologize for this, and because of course, this session is not just for 3PLs, it's also for e-commerce spaces and merchants. But we would like to apologize for this. Like I said during the reconciliation slide, some customers actually when the carriers are billing, we call based off on what the information they provide to us, and that's where we have the dispute process. Because we've also realized that sometimes, even when customers we send these discrepancy emails to notify customers, it comes back to them, come back to us that okay, it's actually not the weight is actually the right weight. So that's why we have to open this process flow so that customers will be able to dispute, and once they do that, we get refund back. So I like to apologize because I would not entirely say that this will be entirely eliminated, but we'll try to control to ensure that the billing is done rightly. But that's why we now had to start the first stage with notification. So we don't go ahead to just bill you on
yeah,
like
I
as a
noticed that is a bit different at
yes,
least.
yes, yes. So that's why we're having this session so that we're telling
Yeah,
you, this thing you shipped actually now has this issue. So just to tell your to send an email. Once you respond to that email, the team will take up the conversation. Like for a business like yours, then I'm sure
yeah,
this will entirely face out in terms of not getting discrepancy, except in a situation where
where I
maybe
actually, yeah,
exactly. Maybe the item now decides to go in a box, it's very small box. I mean, which is almost
yeah.
not possible, right? But we're just saying in a situation like that. So it's
Yeah,
just
I
very
understand that situation. It's just mine. I never use boxes, and it's usually the same thing, having to repeat myself over and over again. That's just the issue.
yeah. We really appreciate your patience trying to understand the process, but I'm sure that we'll do better in that regard. And that's why we had to put this process forward where you get a notification and you'll be able to just say, oh no, this is what I did and this is this. So I don't know if I answered your question, but yes, for further like information or
Yeah.
guide, your officer would always let you know. So because she will always be in copy to see that, oh, there's a billing on your account, and she would back end make sure that your account is not billed, right? So yeah,
Okay, thank you.
thank you so much. All right. I don't know if any other person is going for Akinyomide. Please go ahead with your question.
All right, ma. Yeah, I want to ask question concerning carton, ma.
Okay, please go ahead.
Okay, ma. At times, I want to, if there's any way the standard carton to be used can be itemized, because
Okay.
we have the 3 layers, we have the 5 layers.
Yeah.
So yeah, so at times when we use maybe 3 layers to
Yeah.
send a package, our
Yes.
package will be turned back at times that does not meet the
Mhm.
standard. And this
Yeah.
gives us head. So we even want to know which is the
Mhm.
standard rate you even need. Is it the 5 layers or the 3 layers of? So I don't know how you can help us out about that.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. So because we have a storefront where we also sell packaging materials, right? And we try to make it as affordable for customers. Standard, I mean, the standard, for lack of better word, is 5 pliers. So we've been able to, if you, for example, you buy packaging materials from us, our boxes are 5 plier boxes. The reason, because these 2 plier boxes, 3 pliers can actually damage in transit. Imagine you have like a 40 kg item in a box that is a 3 plier or a 2 plier, and before it gets to the destination, it's torn, or where they are trying to help you adjust it, something falls off from it. But yes, to answer your question, right, it's actually advisable to use a 5 plier box so that you don't have issues with.
All right, ma'am. All right.
Then
Thank you, ma'am.
also, yeah, to answer your first question, when you talked about duty fee, also, we're also working on something in-house to ensure that it allows you see duty fee before completing your shipment, just the way you see insurance and all that. We're working on actually adding a feature that also allows you to see duty fees so you can communicate to your customer accordingly.
All right, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much
We
again.
appreciate that, ma'am. All right, ma'am.
So, I don't know if anyone has, or if we have, well, if we're taking further questions. So, yeah, I don't know. I'll just give us maybe like 3 minutes to see if anybody wants to ask questions. Okay. All right, just something to note. We know that not everybody on this session is a 3PL. We have merchants as well. So it's very important that um, we also take into notice all of this information. If you're selling skincare or makeup, it's good to also know that it's not just for 3PL, it's actually for every category of customers. Then also something in passing, it's good that we insure our packages. Is very important because it's also help to, in a situation where you have any issue, you're sure that your packages are insured. So, without any further questions, addition, so I think we can call the section a wrap. Thank you so much for joining. Everyone that has joined, that's participated, really appreciate you, and we hope that you continue to ship a lot with Terminal. You continue to refer your friends and family. Yeah, and that is very much appreciated. Thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your day.